Hey everybody, welcome to our first devlog for Sign My Petition. I'm Jeremy, and this is...
Haley.
So in this devlog, we're going to go over the gameplay goals, the core gameplay loop, the story, introduce you to the game a little bit, and then we'll go over a little bit of what we had to do to get to this point. We wanted to reward the players with exploration. Like, a huge part of this is exploration in our game, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Kind of stuff I always like. So, I'm a big fan of like Hitman, Stalker, those things that have like those RPG elements. So the world is all built around you going and exploring stuff, and there's always got to be a reason to explore the stuff.
Yeah, and
Someone went and created it all for you.
a game that I think that inspires me a lot that I really haven't talked about, I think, yet is Wizardry 8. I don't think anybody cares about that. I think I'm the only person that cares about that game.
I've never even heard of that game. What is Wizardry 8?
It's like it's another old CRPG, but it's just a huge part. Like, we want to reward exploration, but in the same way that CRPGs sort of do, where a lot of it is noticing small changes, things that happen.
That makes sense. I mean, it's harder for me to talk about the gameplay because you're the creator. You're the one who designed the original game, and I stepped in later.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that it's a beat 'em up heavily inspired by CRPGs, but I think it works because of the silliness of the story, and it's a little bit more, how do I say it, like, not reactive, maybe dynamic. Like, it just feels like you can do a little bit more. Of course, in old Fallout games, you could like shoot and kill the NPCs and stuff like that too if you wanted to, and then the town would react to you. Which we want to add more of.
Yeah.
We definitely want to add more just reactions based on how the player decides to play. That's
Like a Tim Kaine tenet, right? Is that all NPCs should be killable and the quest should still be finishable. Not so completable.
that's our goal, right? We want to make it so that you can play in the playstyle you want.
Because that's one of the things I always hated in like adventure games and other RPGs is you'll do some quest for someone at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then all these massive things have happened in the world, and then you go back and you talk to that NPC and they still have the same generic "thanks for your help, bro." And it's like, meanwhile their village is like completely gone, or it starts with, I think, on your end, because we haven't really talked much about it, so I'm not sure, but it seems like it starts with your idea of having these animal creatures. They're not quite animals, but they're not quite anthropomorphized entirely, right?
Yeah. So the idea originally with these critters is that they don't really know they're animals, but they are. Nobody ever mentions it. We never mention cheese. We never talk about things that are too mousy. Like, there are obviously mouse holes, but as far as they're aware, these are just homes.
Yeah, and they're just mouse scale structures and things.
Yeah.
And also it's the casualness with which everyone in the world is just aware that like you can talk to all the creatures and the creatures can talk to you. And there's just kind of this is just the way it is.
Yeah. Everyone just sort of accepts it. Nobody, even the other tenants, they don't see them as mice. They just see them as, hey, you live here. You're, you don't pay rent.
Kind
but
of,
you
right?
live here.
Like there's this dichotomy there where it's like you can talk to them and they can talk to you, but that doesn't mean that they're equals within the world,
Yeah.
not necessarily given the same rights and privileges, or even viewed as, you know, necessarily sentient.
Yeah.
So that's why we can have the callousness with which the landlord is willing to be, open about, like, oh, I've hired an exterminator.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill all of these little
You're
fellas.
gonna kill all of your friends.
um, and I think, like you were saying earlier, the beat 'em up portion really fits in with that sort of story, the ridiculousness of that story, because like the inspiration from like old 70s beat 'em up, or not beat 'em up, what am I saying? Old 70s kung fu flicks with that jazzy atmosphere. The story is built around those, where people just sort of get into street fights on the daily, kung fu street fights.
I would say we're definitely leaning more into the parodies that started appearing like in the 90s, in the 2000s.
Yeah.
But that works good. I'd say, at least as far as like the mice are concerned, that is the way their world works, right? They've developed like this martial arts culture.
Yeah. At least one of the cultures has. I think in terms of like the story, there are multiple cultures within the mouse realm, across all the different tenants, right? That are based on these tenants that they live with.
So if you're going to make a commercial game instead of just a hobby game like we've done before, you need to have company, because you need to protect your IP. You need to have it packaged.
Yeah.
And that was something I helped you with when I joined, was kind of setting that initial thing up.
You weren't wrong, but looking back, we really should have thought a little bit more about how we were gonna, because now we're already at the point where we're restructuring our LLC, or my LLC, going to include Haley as a partner, or it's going to be a multi-member, is what we're going to do. But
at the time, I think it was the right decision. I
Yeah,
mean, at the time, I had a very small footprint compared to what I do now, and so I was just working under contract, and that
Yeah.
made sense.
it doesn't necessarily, it's not that big of a deal. It just takes some time. So we're going to have to spend some time this week just doing business stuff, which kind of sucks because we just released the playtest, but we have to do it. There were a lot of tiny things that we didn't, as first-time game devs, we didn't know we needed to do until we started doing the playtest.
Yeah. On the planning side, it was hard because we weren't sure that we would have all of the things that we had started making into a finished state.
Yeah.
So we were planning on having sort of feature flags, be able to turn off certain parts of quests and other things if needed, but we ended up getting it all done, and you can kind of see where we're trying to go with it.
Yeah. And I think what we wanted to do with a lot of these quests was just kind of showcase to people what we can and where we want to go with these type of like different quests that we have. Some other things we had, like we had an internal playtest as well. We played, we invited friends and stuff. I would say an internal playtest, like that's official or whatever. We invited friends over. And what we got from that, we got a lot of really good feedback. The applying items while in the menu, that's something we thought about, but we were going to end up releasing a playtest if we didn't do this. I think we were going to end up releasing a playtest without that, and I think that feature is just so quintessential to the game. Yeah, I think what we noticed with our internal playtest is that a lot more people use mouse and keyboard for a PC game, even though it's a beat 'em up, than I originally thought would, right? And it just became like, okay, now mouse and keyboard is MVP, wherein I was originally designing this game to support controller, which I don't think is a bad thing, because it's led to, you know, we just have 2 different supported controllers now.
It was like, for a while there, I was just kind of like, I would slip in features, slip in a tutorial that works for mouse and keyboard, slip in a flag that allows you to show icons for it.
So, if y'all aren't aware, we have a Discord. We're going to be posting our content updates in our Discord, along with like places to vote on new tenants for different areas, what y'all like, what y'all don't like. That's going to start in the next couple weeks. If you're interested, come join. If not, you can always just leave a wish list or follow on YouTube or on X or Blue Sky. Essentially, anywhere you can follow us, you'll probably be receiving updates. But the most helpful thing is always a wish list. So go wish list our game. If you can, if you can't, join our Discord.
What's it? You know, our first thing in Discord here is kind of priming the pump, right? It's like we've got some ideas. We want the community to kind of decide which one we start developing first. And then after that, we're hoping that like you kind of see the format that we need ideas to kind of be, and the community can start helping us actually make more ideas, can start giving us the ideas. So if you want to actually help shape the story that starts unfolding, like this is your chance to do so.
So if you like the game, wishlist on Steam, come join the Discord so you can vote on the new tenants that we're going to be adding incrementally to the game, and you guys get to kind of help shape the